Hello, welcome. So today we're going to take a look at Today I Effed Up. So if you've done something today which made you think, oh my god, what am I doing? I'm so embarrassed and I'm never leaving the house again, maybe this might make you feel a little bit better. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Definitely subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,000 before my birthday in March, and I think we could definitely do it. I just need your help, very much so. So thank you. Okay, first post shared by both Click1366 says, today I effed up by bringing a good dish to Thanksgiving once, and it's now my job. See, that's where you never go above and beyond for group parties, because you will always be the one person that has to do that from then on. A couple of years ago, I think like 2 years ago, I needed to bring something to Thanksgiving at my aunt's house. I simply Googled easy impressive dish and made this bacon-wrapped jalapeno thing. Took me 20 minutes-ish. Everyone lost their minds. My uncle said it was the best thing he had ever eaten. People asked me for the recipe. I felt like MasterChef. Now I have to make them at every gathering. I don't really even like them anymore. I've made hundreds of those things, but I can't stop now. Last year I said I might bring something different and my aunt said, no. Everyone looks forward to your jalapenos. My uncle looked at me like I had threatened to cancel the holiday. I'm about to make like 40 of them for Christmas. I just realised what I have gotten myself into. I will forever be the holiday gathering jalapeno guy. TLDR, made jalapeno poppers once from a random online recipe. This is who I am now. I am the jalapeno guy. I love that though. I mean, at least it's nice that you are so appreciated, I suppose. And as long as they are appreciative and, you know, they show gratitude for your efforts, then yeah, there could be worse things. So down in the comments, Umberto Echo the Dolphin says, my boyfriend did this but with deviled eggs. When he strays from this, there is a disturbance in the force. What are deviled eggs? I don't think I've ever had one. I feel like they're like quite an American thing. I don't feel like they're much of a thing over here. I would like to try one though, because I do love eggs. And then Lashed says, I accidentally became the deviled egg lady at my own damn parties. I host 2 to 3 party events every year with 25 to 45 guests. I make all the food myself, some simple things, some elaborate things, but usually a spread of about 12 to 15 dishes. They're always the first thing gone at every event, even though I'm making 3 dozen eggs worth of them now. I've had friends jokingly threaten to not come if I don't make the deviled eggs. It's the only dish I've made that receives praise before, during, and after the event. I don't get it. I like them, I really do, but I don't understand why they seem to make folks go feral. Sometimes I feel like if you make something that goes down well at a party, and the party also goes particularly well, and everyone's feeling really happy and the good vibes, they want to emulate that again and again, so that could be why people are then going, no, you have to make this dish again and again, because it's bringing back those vibes, bringing back the feels, you know? It's nostalgia, I suppose. Next post, posted by Jedi Jacob 04. Today I effed up by jokingly ringing up a transaction for 28 million at work. I work at a liquor store, and it being the 26th of December, it was relatively very slow today. Near the end of my shift, me and my co-worker had nothing much to do, so I jokingly scanned a miniature bottle of alcohol several times as if he was a customer purchasing that many bottles. To keep the joke going, I then scanned an entire box of pre-made shooters, something like 40 shooters at $3 each, several times once again. The total was something like $2,500 at this point. My co-worker then has this bright idea to check the system and find some expensive wines that were sold and are still in the system, and finds one worth several thousands of dollars. I find that wild, you know, that there is certain booze that for some reason, just because maybe it's sat in a barrel for a good old time, it costs ridiculous money, like thousands. And I just think, if I bought something like that, I would never want to open it. Almost $10,000. What, for one bottle? No way. and sets the quantity in the POS to 999, the maximum allowed. By this point, the running total is 9 million, and we're cracking up. We were extremely bored. He then finds another bottle, this one nearly 20,000. 20,000! Oh my goodness! And sets the quantity to 999, bringing the total up to 28 million. Now, this is where I'm personally responsible for the fuck up. I pretended to bring the transaction up to the point right up to when you confirm how much the customer is paying in cash. It automatically assumes the customer is paying in full, and the only thing stopping the transaction from going through was a single press of the enter key. Oh no. My co-worker didn't see that I was already there and mistakenly pressed enter to reach the same point I had brought us to. 28 million in theoretical cash made its way into the cash register's balance. I yelled at my co-worker to ask what the F he did, and he realised what he had done and his eyes went wide. Yeah, I bet they did. Do you know what? At that point, I'd throw my hands up and just call the manager and be like, oh my god, you'll never guess what? The whole system is just bugging out completely. It seems to think there's a 28 million transaction on here, and obviously that's unreasonable. Why on earth would there be a 28 million transaction? We immediately tried to reverse the entire transaction, but understandably, there's a 1 million maximum that you can return at a time. So, attempting to return 28 million of sold alcohol didn't work. After figuring out the maximum, I then had to do dozens of returns, each worth 1 million at a time, until every single bottle of alcohol was returned. And then the inventory was corrected from minus 999 to 0. However, in the reports for that day, it'll show 28 million in revenue and a similar amount in returns, which will completely F up the stats and the graphs and everything, which higher-ups will obviously inquire about. I'm going to go wait for my store manager tomorrow morning before she comes in so that I can explain what happened and confess that we were joking around and never meant to go through with the transaction. Please pray for me and my job. I 100% accept that we were at fault and deserve some sort of punishment for exaggerating as much as we did, and for not working when we were supposed to. TLDR, me and my co-worker pretending to ring up 28 million transaction as a joke and then accidentally went through with it. Up the store's stats for that day, even if we managed to return the products in the system. Update. My boss was understandably frustrated and disappointed, but the worst that can happen is the higher-ups will meet and they will probably decide to give us warnings. It'll be in our files, but nothing more. I mean, that's a relief, because yeah, 28 million would get them excited, I bet, as well, if they saw that in the stats. And then for you to just be like, hee hee, no, sorry, we were having a joke. Yeah, you're lucky you just got a slap wrist, for sure. So down in the comments, Zaya Phoenix says, should have called the manager right away. Best to be proactive with mistakes than react to them flipping out. Yeah, I would have called right away. Not sure if I would have admitted to being messing around like that. I might have been like, oh, the system's just gone a bit crazy. But yeah, I would have definitely called right away. The manager might be able to call certain people to let them know it was a mistake, instead of the numbers showing up in reports. And then the OP says, yeah, in hindsight I should have, but the manager was someone from another store replacing the usual manager who's on extended sick leave, and I wouldn't have known how to call her after she had left. But I'm hoping going to see her before we open tomorrow will be proactive enough. Goodness me, yeah, don't mess around at work, folks, with the tills. When it comes to money, be precise and never joke about with it, especially at work. Next post posted by Infamous Bad 6007. Today I effed up by going outside to swing in Hello Kitty PJs. So I, 21F, wait, what kind of swinging are we talking about here? So I, 21F, like to swing in my backyard to decompress. Sometimes I go out in the middle of the day, and sometimes I go out at like 9 o'clock at night when I get off work. My whole family knows and doesn't care. I just sit on the swings, okay, good. listening to music with my earbuds in. I just sit on the swings, listening to music with my earbuds in, drifting off into La La Land. This time was no different. Now, I do have to mention that it was a bit chilly outside, and it was at 9:22 when I was outside. I was only wearing Hello Kitty PJs as it was the only warmest PJs I had at the time. So, I'm swinging for a good 20 minutes when I see my mother come out to check on me. Now, I thought it was because the swings were being too loud, as they do creak every time I swing, or she was telling me to come inside because it was late. No, she just goes back inside, so I continue to do my own thing. The nice thing I have to mention is my headphones were on full volume, so I couldn't hear a damn thing. She then comes back out and gestures for me to come over to her, and I did, still assuming my original thought. Well, turns out a backyard neighbour called the cops on us. They called the cops concerned that a 10-year-old girl is outside swinging with no proper winter attire on, scaring the crap out of my mum because no kid under the age of 14 should be outside. I can't find if she has a 10-year-old nephew but no daughter. She had to walk up to the cops after checking the backyard to tell them that instead of a 10-year-old girl, it was instead her 21-year-old daughter. Safe to say she told me to come back outside between laughs. So, apparently me wanting to swing in the middle of the night in Hello Kitty pyjamas was calling the cops worthy. Guess next time I have to wear less kiddish attire or put on a coat so we don't have the cops called on us again. TLDR, I went outside to swing in my own backyard in Hello Kitty pyjamas as an adult. Nosy neighbour called the cops on us thinking I was a child swinging in the dark. I mean, I suppose at least the neighbour was trying to look out for what they thought was a kid who was like, I don't know, been chucked outside to go stay outside for the night. But yeah, that's funny, really. I would never get mistaken for a child, even in Hello Kitty pyjamas, because I'm like nearly 6 foot. So, down in the comments, Tribal Bob says, not gonna lie, when I read the title I had something far different in my head, and it was infinitely worse. Illustrious Tour 4870 says, laughing my ass off, same brain. I read that title and was like, oh no, what did you do? Glad it was just pyjamas and chaos. And then the Real Wild Gravy says, why would anyone call the cops on someone on a swing though? And how do you not see the difference between a 21-year-old and a 10-year-old in their own yard and all? It's a weird story. No, I could see it happening because obviously a 10-year-old shouldn't be outside at night time on a swing in just pyjamas when it's freezing cold outside. And I can also see a 21-year-old getting mistaken for a kid because my younger sister is tiny, absolutely tiny, and could easily get mistaken for a kid. Next post posted by Remarkable Solution 88. Today I effed up by accidentally making my boss think I have a son. What? Last year, my boss asked what I did over the weekend, and I said, took my little guy to the park. I was talking about my dog, small dog, little guy. She said, "Aw, how old is he?" I said, "He's 4, because he is." She said, "That's such a fun age," and I go, "Yeah, he's got a lot of energy," realising like 2 weeks later that she thought I had a son because she's mentioned something like, "Must be hard balancing work with a 4-year-old," and I just said, "Yeah," because how do you even correct that? It's been almost a year now. My son is 5 according to the timeline. She asks about him sometimes and I just go, "He's good," and I try to change the subject. I've never said a name, so at least there is that. Performance review last month, she said I handled the workload well considering my responsibilities at home, and I just said thank you. I don't know what happens when she eventually wants to see a picture or asks his name. I'm in too deep. I've considered just getting a real kid at this point. What's the dog's name? Is it like a really pet name as well? I must know. TLDR, said little guy, meaning my dog, boss thinks I have a son. So, down in the comments, Slytherin says, "Oh, I am looking forward to take your kid to work day." And then Lifestyle SMW says, "Imagine the shock when everyone expects a tiny human and you roll in with a chihuahua instead." And then Outraged Chihuahua says, "You summoned me?" Next post posted by Throwaway2257. Today I effed up. I asked to see my fiance's nan's holiday photos from when she was younger. Was your fiance's nan partial to a sun's out, baps out kind of vibe? I'll keep it short and sweet. It's Christmas, we're all sat around the table, and my missus talks about how her nan used to globetrot very often and never really stayed in one place. I said, "Oh, wow, I'd love to see the photos." The nan responds, "I keep them in my bedroom. Come on, I'll show you them." Me excited to see all the sights she has seen in her life. All very innocent. We sit down on a bed as she gets out her shoebox. She starts to regale her years on cruises and many people she's met. She then starts telling me about the bloke she's been with. Me being me, I let her continue with a few chuckles and letting her continue. Starting to feel uncomfortable sat on her bed with her sat so close to me, I try to speed it up to see the photos. There's loads in there, and she has seen most of the world, so I turn the conversation back to the photos, trying to talk about the wild animals she's seen, the wonders of all the incredible countries. As the photos go on, she starts pointing out men in them and going, "He was such a good lover. This one had a partner. This one said he would follow me around the world." Nan! Then we get to the beach photos and the horror on my face when she pulled... I knew it! When she pulled out nude fucking photos of her on a beach from when she was around 30 to 40, and she simply asks, "What do you think?" Shoot your shot, Nan, Christ. To which I sat there stunned and simply said, "Oh, wow, well, all the places look amazing, but I think we should go back down. It's been a while." Christmas dinner was very awkward. TLDR, my fiance's nan showed me nudes. So, down in the comments, Bobby5Spice says Nana knew exactly who she was. I don't think she was feeling awkward. No, I think OP felt awkward. I think Nana was pretty friggin' pleased with herself. And then Velvet Flare says Nana was not confused. She was conducting psychological warfare with holiday lighting. She really hit you with, "What do you think?" Like she didn't just drop a vintage... Stop it. A vintage thirst trap album. Respect the confidence, fear the follow-up question at dinner. Also, you asked for photos and she said bet. 0 warnings, full director's cut. Oh my goodness. Seriously though, Nan, you can't be doing stuff like that. That could literally be classed as harassment, you know? Calm down, lovey dear. Next post, posted by Old Magician 1. Today I effed up by teaching my nephew the wrong word for penguins. When my nephew was 3, I was babysitting and we were watching a nature documentary. Penguins came on and I thought it would be funny to tell him that they were called waddle boys. He is 5 now and still calls them waddle boys. I forgot I did this. He was with his kindergarten class to the zoo, and apparently he had to school everyone that they are not penguins, but waddle boys, and he knows because his uncle told him so. I just got distracted and completely forgot I was recording. God, I'm terrible. My sister calls me and just says, "Waddle boys?" Mind you, I had totally forgotten until she explained. My nephew was very upset because he got laughed at. Oh no! My sister is mad. My nephew now thinks I lied to him, which I guess I did. Although what surprised me most is that he had even remembered. Anyway, now I'm just the uncle who lies for no reason. Oh, bless him. TLDR, told my 3-year-old nephew penguins are called waddle boys as a joke. 2 years later, he told his kindergarten class and the teachers at the zoo, I am a villain. So down in the comments, Coolbreeze7 says, "Nice, I got young kids myself. I see where you're coming from. Best advice I have, is own it. Tell the boy you're sorry. You were trying to be playful, but should have done better. Most people can be pretty forgiving when they get an apology that takes ownership. And then Velvet Elevator says, yes, I accidentally taught my kid to say the name of a food wrong. If pronounced wrong, it contains my friend's name, so we have called it that for years. When we found out, we apologised and explained what happened, and we should have made sure he knew the real term. Honestly though, kids really do just like take in stuff like a flipping sponge, and they believe everything you say. Most kids, mine, my youngest, oh my goodness, they are so black and white with their thinking. It's insane. So I can say a saying like, I don't know, say something like, oh, you can't have your cake and eat it. If you say something like that, they'll be like, well, what's the flipping point in having it then? Do you know what I mean? And they get really frustrated about it as well. So you have to be very purposeful and deliberate with your words and make sure you don't use any little sayings or anything, because they won't get it and they will get very mad. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for today. I actually really should get into bed. I'm going to my dad's tomorrow. Well, not to my dad's. My dad's picking me up, but I'm going to my sister's for New Year's Eve. So I should probably get my butt into bed. But these were fun stories to read just before going to sleep, to be fair. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, don't forget to leave your offering of a comment for the algorithm gods. That'll be your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.